Once upon a time, there was a girl named Mira who needed a lot of things. She needed rest, reassurance, pace, understanding. So she'd say to her friends and family, "I need rest." And they'd reply, "You're too sensitive." Or she'd say, "I need reassurance." And they'd say, "That's a lot." Or she'd say, "I need space." And they'd say, "Can't you just?" But every time she asked for her needs to be met, she felt punished for it. And punishment isn't love. So she started to shrink herself. She smiled through the pain, stayed silent when she wanted to speak, and slowly became invisible. She thought that maybe if she made herself smaller, people would want to hold on to her more, but she was wrong. One day, she found an old wicker basket in the attic, and it seemed to glow whenever she put one of her needs inside. So she filled it up, placed it on her lap, and sat in a corner of the room where she could watch everyone. When they asked what was in the basket, she said, "Oh, nothing important," and walked away. For a while, she felt lighter, like the basket was holding all of her weight. But then she noticed that the glow from the basket wasn't reaching her anymore. It was dimming. And when she looked inside, she realized she had begun to shrink again. This time, she picked up the basket and brought it downstairs. As she filled it with the truth, she felt its glow start to rise again. She walked outside with it, placed it on the ground, and breathed. The basket pulsed with her truth. It was no longer too needy, too much, too complicated. And as she watched, she saw others begin to reclaim their own baskets. Some cried, some breathed, some spoke up. Their voices shook the ground, but it was a good kind of shake. They were no longer shrinking. And in the distance, she saw children writing on brightly colored petals. "My needs are valid," they said, and released them into the wind. Petals floated to the sky, each one glowing with an inner light. Mira knew then that she didn't have to be less to be loved. In fact, she was most loved when she was whole. And that's when she saw it. The sky was filled with glowing baskets, all different shapes and sizes, all holding the truths that made them who they were. If you've ever hidden your needs to stay accepted, like and subscribe. Let Mira remind you your needs are not a burden. You don't have to be less to be loved. Be whole. And let your needs be your truth.